You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Let's stop acting like we don't see how this game is played. If you tired of folks throwing shade with a smile and keeping you boxed in with that slick behind-the-scenes racism, it's time to upgrade your survival skills. See, Phillip Scott dropped more than just knowledge. He handed you a playbook with passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy. This ain't the in-your-face kind. This is that sneaky, office space, let me block your blessings type of racism that'll have you questioning your own reality. It's time to call it what it is and arm yourself with the facts. But baby, don't stop at just peeping the system. Break those mental chains too. That's why you need 7 steps to decolonize the mind. This is about freeing yourself up top, walking in confidence, and letting the world know your mind is not for rent, lease, or layaway. It's time to reclaim your power step by step. So don't just watch, take action. Click over to Amazon.com, type in passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy and 7 steps to decolonize the mind, and secure both books for yourself, your crew, and anybody ready for that mental liberation. La Sherika said it, now go do it. Invest in your freedom. Pick up both books today on Amazon.com. Trust me, your mind will thank you.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. This isn't another book about what racism looks like. This is the blueprint of how it was built, who profits from it, and most importantly, how to dismantle it. I spent years connecting dots that they never wanted connected, following money trails that they thought were buried, exposing the machine that runs on our oppression. Knowledge is power, but strategic knowledge is liberation. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system.
If you have not been tuning in before, my goodness, you've missed out on a lot. Broke boy, but with potential. What made you realize, this soft life is for me?
I deserve it. Because main money is special. I'm single.
But you don't like to be alone now. I'm looking for a guy to break my heart.
Well, as long as they're Nigerians now.
Watch Slay Queen Nigeria, only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke. We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff. No filters. Just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure to click that subscribe button. It's very important. Make sure to click that like button. Now, you can't hype the live stream or video here, but, you know, on the other channels you can. But that is a new feature. So today we're going to talk about your boy, Stephen Miller. You know, he's your favorite resident person from the Third Reich, right? And he went to Memphis, and you know, Trump and them is going into Memphis now, right? Memphis, Tennessee. And we know Memphis is a predominantly black city. So it's safe to say that now you're targeting black people, right? So like you were targeting black people in Washington, D.C. Now, Tennessee is a red state. So the governor invited Trump and them to come down to Memphis and do that, right? The governor's showing that he's incompetent. He can't deal with his own state that he's a governor of. He got to go call on Trump to go in there and deal with black people. Okay, now black people in Memphis have dealt with the most, okay? You go back to the civil rights movement, Memphis was a hot spot for that. So I will say this, we are people who are survivors and the people that can thrive in the midst of anything. So, yeah, we're going to get into that tonight. Also, I want to get into tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this, you know, some of these people, you know, trying to run off at the mouth about the election. You know, I got to talk about that election here tonight, because one thing you're not going to do is put that on black people or saying black people sat it out. That's why this happened. Oh, it's y'all fault. Oh, it's y'all fault. No, we're not gonna put up with that, you know. And I would never let you go with that narrative, because we read over here, right? We don't just run off of narratives and propaganda. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the stream tonight. And also, I've seen who Inquisitor 10 say bought the book. You say you bought the book, about the book. I don't know. You say bought the book. All right, I appreciate you for buying the book. I appreciate you. Thank you. That is a. Hope you enjoy the book and everything that we got from it. You know, our next book is going to be due September 1, 2020. I think hopefully that's during the week. But September 1, 2026 is when our next book will be due. That's when I want to drop a book every year, September 1, ladies and gentlemen. I'm committed to that. Also, thank you for downloading the ADNC app. We greatly appreciate it. You know, I see people coming in, and people that's renewing and continue to support us there on the app. Thank you, and help us get to our first goal of 5,000 members. That's what we want to get to, our very, very first one. So, all right, as we won't take too much of your time. Okay, you don't read enough. You don't read the whole truth. Okay. Now look, that's strike number one already. I'm giving strike one. 2 more strikes, we go to members only. Now, if you want to know why you go to members only, when people can't do, and see, that's what we do. You have to be subscribed here at least a week to talk now. But if you mess up, it's kind of like football. If your teammate mess up too much, then we just go to members only, and that'd be cool. We can do that, right? So that's what we do. So when you talk, you don't insult hosts. You don't talk crazy, okay? That goes for any of our channels. If we catch you, we probably just get rid of you. All right? Make sure to remember that. All right. So, yeah. Lisa say, just turn that back, turn that on. Well, we already got strike one, Lisa. We got strike one. So, strike 2 and 3, we go on to members only. You know, that's very easy for me to do it. I just cut a button on, and that's it. All right, let's get started. All right, so let's get to your boy, Stephen Miller. We're not going to take too long getting to him. and all of that. Now, Lene said, am I going to discuss the government shutdown? I could, but let me get to Stephen Miller.
Thank you, Pete, Gaddy, Pam, and of course, your governor, for not only being here today, but for the invitation to your state to bring the full resources of the federal government to making Memphis safer than any of you could ever possibly imagine. To the Memphis Police Department, the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all-of-government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis, this is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over, it's finished. The gangbangers that you deal with, they think that they're ruthless. They have no idea how ruthless we are. They think they're tough. They have no idea how tough we are. They think that they're hardcore. We are so much more hardcore than they are. And we have the entire weight of the United States government behind us. What do they have? They have nothing behind them. So we are going to win. They are going to lose. We are going to rescue Memphis. And it will not only be safer than ever before, but businesses and investment are going to pour in, and Memphis will be richer than ever before. Because President Trump has decided this is a priority, and when President Trump makes a decision, this team behind me today executes. Thank you, and God bless.
All right. Well, that's Stephen Miller there, ladies and gentlemen. No one that none of you elected, no matter if you like him or not. You didn't elect this guy, but yet this guy is run off at the mouth constantly. He was not confirmed by the Senate to do anything, right? But yet he's front and center. All right, so let's start this over because I want to stop it at certain points in his white supremacist tirade.
Thank you, Pete, Gaddy, Pam, and of course your governor for not only being here today, but for the invitation to your state to bring the full resources of the federal government to making Memphis safer than any of you could ever possibly imagine.
Now, I'm a firm believer of, what they teach to agree with your adversary quickly when your adversary is bringing up some sort of truth. That way it doesn't make you get you caught up with them in the area of falsehoods or deception or things like that. Reality speaking, Memphis have had a crime problem. Yes, they have. If you talk to Memphis residents, they will tell you that, hey, yeah, some of the crime is off the chain over here in Memphis. Now, the police said it's been down about 25%, but Memphis did have some crime. Now, if you want to say, what's the failure? Well, it's just simple. The police is failing. The governor is failing. The mayor is failing. The city council is failing because we remember crime is relegated to poverty and opportunity. We have talked about this. You can look at every neighborhood in America. Look at where the low income is at, compare those crime rates. Look at the middle income, look at the upper middle income. You will clearly see each bracket as you go up, crime decrease. Okay? When you have a system that if someone goes to jail and they cannot get a job, that's going to put them in a situation. You won't give somebody that served time in prison a job, but y'all make all kind of concessions for illegal immigrants. You understand what I'm saying? Illegal immigrants can have a job a lot quicker than a brother that went to prison. Isn't that messed up? You would think the brother that came out of prison would be the one that should be able to get the job, right? So they craft these problems. They have always created the problem. And you say, well, why the crime in the black community? Listen, we are the only community that gets sabotaged, okay? The other night, I was on a panel and with the NABJ out of L.A., okay? And one sister brought up she mentioned the Asian community. And, you know, one thing I told that sister, just paraphrasing, we should never compare ourselves to Asians or any other group because no other group in this country has been sabotaged. Like I told the sister, show me Chinatowns who have been bombed and white mobs have burn them out their place, stole all their stuff. Every time they try to rebuild a Chinatown, they keep doing the same thing. They build a neighborhood, they do the same thing. It has never happened to Asians. So don't sit up here and try to compare, Asians work together and Asians do this. Yeah, it's easy to work together when you're being left the hell alone. It's very easy. Trust me, it's easy. They wouldn't come over here if they didn't have it easy like that. You understand? So do not compare us who have been sabotaged, over criminalized, literally criminalized for existing, right? Our skin is our criminality. You understand? Don't compare that to them. The scriptures even teach don't compare one to another. And there's wisdom in that. Them people whoever you care comparing us to don't have our story. So it don't make no sense of saying, look at him, look at her. It don't even matter as a black person. You'll give yourself a headache and be aggravated. All right. So let's get back to your boy, Stephen Miller here.
To the Memphis Police Department, the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all of government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests.
All right. So you bring all this federal law enforcement together to go to one American city, or let's say a Chicago, or you go into D.C. Why I don't hear nothing about the economy? I hear nothing about the economy. Why don't you bring together all the financial minds in the government? Why don't you bring in all the great financial minds in the private sector and try to fix this economy so everybody can make money, everybody can get to work? But with this particular administration, they only focus on billionaires getting money, period. That's what it is, the billionaire class. That's the only people that matters. And the rest of you, well, you're going to go to jail. If you're poor and you live in those areas, yeah, that's what they want to put you in jail because they can put you back in slavery. So you can work for the corporations that you couldn't even get a job for in the free world, right? Wasting all this, and you know how much money this is costing, what they're doing? They're spending tons of money. It went from illegal immigrants to now criminalizing American citizens. And I talked about this last night on the podcast when you had some Latinos say, see, we told y'all you were next. No, your argument was we were next to be deported by ICE. That was your argument. And we say that we could never be deported by ICE. We never said that the police don't target us. We always being targeted from our champion boxers like Bud Crawford, getting the gun pulled on him, right? By some broke police, because they broke. Compared to him, they extremely broke, right? We always dealing with those issues and problems as black people. So when have we ever came off the menu? That's what I'm saying. So all that you're next. We never been off the menu. So we just can't get deported. At least with you guys, you got a homeland to go to. You got embassies here that can advocate for you. If y'all was smart, y'all go try to flee to your embassy, because embassy belongs to your nation. Just a little thought, food for thought. But with this particular administration, they probably wouldn't even care if you flee into your embassy. Well, let's continue.
These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis.
Okay, so even though Stephen Miller is an outright, loud, anti-black racist, we know this, he still had to speak in code speak, okay? So when you hear the terms from them, criminal, gang member, okay, they're talking about black folk. You say, oh, no, they're not. They don't talk about black people who commit crime. Well, why is it that in D.C., law-abiding black people were still being harassed by the FBI and everybody else they had out the ATF? Why were they being harassed if they were just going after the criminals? In white supremacy, the only way they can get you back into slavery is label you a criminal and put you in prison. That's a loophole they created for the 13th Amendment. That loophole should never have been put there. And our people have never collectively challenged it. We've talked about it here and there, but we never collectively challenged that to remove the slavery loophole. Why are you creating a slavery loophole? So long as they can convict you of a crime, you become a slave to them. They don't have to pay you anything for work in prison. If you don't work, well, then they'll write you up, put you in solitary confinement and all of that if you don't want to work. What they call you, property of the state. You're a ward of the state. Why are you a ward of the state? Because you are a slave. This is why they want to put more black men in prison. So when they're calling you criminal, you're talking about black men. Definitely black men, black people for sure, but black men in particular. Now, when he say law-abiding, he meaning white people. They never call white people criminals. Have you noticed that? Even when they doing criminal things. They never call Tyler Robinson this just criminal. They never use that word with him. Oh, well, he was just a kid. He didn't know really what he was doing. Oh, he's the suspect, right? Think about it, how they talk about him. The school shooters, the whoever. Oh, the suspect. Oh, he had PTSD. He had this. His dog died. His mama died. His wife left him with his brother. That's why he did it. But they never called them a criminal. Have you noticed that? It don't matter if they're a serial killer. They don't call them criminals. They romanticize the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world. They don't want to say, oh, that criminal Jeffrey Dahmer. They make films about it. That word criminal is only relegated for sure with the black man, mostly, and also the black woman, but for sure the black man. When they say law-abiding, they never say that about black people. We're law-abiding people, even though we're more law-abiding than they could ever be. But when they say law-abiding, he's meaning white folks. He's not meaning Asians. He's not meaning Arabs, Hispanics, Indians. He's not meaning nobody else. He's meaning white people. So you say they say any criminal that has a people, we say about a block or whatever, something like that, a neighborhood, gang. When they say gang, even though there's gangs in all communities. But when they say gang member, remember Charlie Kirk was saying that mess too. That was the last words he said before he went on to the next, wherever he's at. But gang member, criminal, those are quote unquote dog whistle words in white supremacy. Law-abiding citizen means white. They will sit up here and say, oh, that's not true. No, he's not talking. Man, Stephen Miller can't stand black people. Well, Stephen Miller don't like nobody but white people. Let's call that what it is. He don't like Latinos. He don't like Asians. He don't like nobody. He don't. You could tell. I mean, he's pretty upfront. But Stephen Miller is the white supremacist that we need, that black America needs in particular. Why? Because we got to have a Stephen Miller. See, Stephen Miller is doing the Lord's work. Now you say, what? What you mean? Because some of us are stubborn and stiff-necked, and it takes a Stephen Miller, it takes a Bull Connor or someone like that to open your eyes to get on the side of righteousness with your people. Because some of you just want to be comfortable in captivity. Matter of fact, a lot of you want to be comfortable in captivity. If them folks will leave you alone, you fine with them running everything, you fine with them doing everything, they just give you a job, a steady employment, and they don't harass you when you driving, and they let you get your education and party and BS, you fine. They can run everything for 2,000 years, and you cool with it because you comfortable in captivity. And what the Lord is saying, no, them days of you comfortable in captivity is over. And I thank God for that because you will never be free if you're comfortable. You'll never be free. But some of you don't want to be free. Just like some of you didn't want to be off the plantation. The slave master had to run some of you off the plantation and say you couldn't stay there no more because slavery was over. You had to go. Some of you was begging, saying, well, why can't I stay with you? I'm happier here. Not everybody was like, slavery over. Oh, shoot, man. Yeah, let's go. No, some black folk wanted to stay on the plantation. They were comfortable working all day for them, living in the slave quarters. They were comfortable being violated when the master wanted to violate them at any time. They were comfortable with that. They were comfortable getting beat with the whip. They was comfortable. Now, that's because we romanticize slavery now. It's too many of us that romanticize some of our history. We never want to talk about those kind of black folks in black America.
The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable.
If there's a square block that a white person don't feel safe in this city, is not acceptable. Because they don't even look at us, people like him don't look at us as citizens. He don't look at white people as citizens, okay? So you got to understand when Stephen Miller is talking, that's what he means. But they're cowards. I'd rather him to come out and say it. I would actually respect him a lot more if he does it, but they won't do it. Like I say, they're cowards. The only thing they could do is maybe use a Candace Owens to say something for them. And they're tired of that. They're kind of tired of filtering what they want to say through a Candace Owens or any of those kind of people, right? Your Larry Elder or all those who make, good, decent money off of the right wingers, being a black mouthpiece so they won't get in trouble. But they're tired of that. They want to go back to some old school racism. And like I said, I'm here for it.
This is Memphis. This is the United States of America. And all that bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished.
Now, he's up here doing all this cussing, okay? You got a whole group of people up there right now who are just no class. I told you America is a trailer park. This current people who's running everything is from the trailer park. It don't matter what money they got in their bank account. They have a trailer park mentality. That's what they have. Trailer park mentality. Everything you're seeing right now is trailer park. You're not seeing intelligence. You're not seeing class. You're not seeing professionalism. You're just seeing trailer park. It don't matter what suits they wear, how they fix their hair. Their mentality is trailer park. And this is the same man that talk about them coming out the Caucasus Mountains. Well, you know what? You can't. You can get them out the Caucasus Mountains, but you can't get the Caucasus Mountains out of them. And that's all you're seeing right now is the Caucasus Mountains. They don't know no other way to be. All they know is aggression and violence. They don't know diplomacy. They don't know peace. They don't know how to be just chilling their nerves. No, they always got to be at war with someone. When they was in Europe and we wasn't nowhere around, they was fighting each other. Everywhere they go, if you look at them, everywhere they have been, no matter what language they speak, they don't bring peace to the planet Earth. Show me I'm telling a lie about that. No matter where they are at in the earth, no matter what language they speak, show me what peace they are bringing to the planet Earth. Show me the peace and tranquility. Show me how they just get along with everybody. And they're always trying to go to war with somebody. Whether it's war through financially, whether war cyber, fighting about AI, fighting about currency, propaganda. They're always at war with somebody. A person that's always at war with somebody is not a happy person. Because like, dog, don't you get tired of that mess? And you got all the House, the Senate, and the White House, and you still mad? That lets me know you don't have no peace. And the only way you have peace unless you're trying to hurt, harm, oppress, and take the lives of people. And listen, any of you who are secretly in your heart would say, man, I wish I could be them and I don't have to deal with these problems of black people. No. Those people aren't happy. And really, the intensity on them is just crazy. Because it's like you're seeing the Western world be unraveled in a short amount of time. It's amazing. It's amazing time to actually live, to watch the Western world just start unraveling. You know, you see your boy Netanyahu running all over the place. Why? Because the whole world now open their eyes about what they're doing over there, right? Trump, he must got something on him. But Trump scared to tell him anything, right? But, I can only go so far with that conversation because you know how it is on these platforms talking about that. But let's continue.
They think that they're ruthless. They have no idea how ruthless we are. They think they're tough. They have no idea how tough we are. They think that they're hardcore. We are so much more hardcore than they are. And we have the entire weight of the United States government behind us. What do they have? They have nothing behind them. So we are going to win. They are going to lose. We are going to rescue Memphis. And it will not only be safer than ever before, but businesses and investment are going to pour in, and Memphis will be richer than ever before.
Okay, and there it is. There it is. This is about money. This is about move the black people out, take all the property we can for cheap, and we're going to make some money. Everything is about some money. Like, listen, I trust me, I want to make money too. But I don't want to make money at the expense of harming nobody. I don't need that much money to live. I really don't. I mean, even I have a certain amount of money I like to say, well, I like to make this amount to be comfortable, but I don't have to be a billionaire. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Everything for them is about money. But listen, what does scripture teach? The love of money is the root of all evil. And what you have is these people, they love money. And because they love money, They are evil to the core because that's what the scriptures teach. It is the root of all evil. It didn't say some evil. It didn't say a quarter evil. It said all. Because after all that, he talking about they going to come in and make some money. Like, I thought this was supposed to be about crime. Why are you all of a sudden talking about coming in and making some money? And this money is only going to benefit, 4 or 5 people? It's not going to benefit the people of Memphis. That's what it is with them. These people love money, and that's why their soul is corrupted, and everything they do is through the lens of money. And this is why their world is unraveling, and the world is seeing it in real time. These people love money. They don't love truth. They don't love justice. They don't love honor. They don't love morality. They have no love in their heart. They're not guided by love. They say God, they cannot worship God because God is about love. He's about the truth. He's not about the love of money. There's nothing wrong with having money. But when you love money, that's when you got a problem. And these people right now, is what y'all seeing, is they don't even care about the economy because they say, ooh, how can I screw over the American people so I can get more money? Hey, I'm going to take these regulations down so I can get more money. Forget the American people. I don't care about them. They can go to hell. They can lose all their jobs. I don't care as long as I get money because I love it. Because even though I got $1 billion in my account, I need 10 billion. I need 100 billion. Because they love money. And that's something I don't want my people getting into, loving money. It's okay to make it. It's okay to use it as a tool. But don't get to the point that you're loving money. Because you be in violation of the scripture. And whatever judgment come down on them, do not adopt the mind of these people. Do not adopt their mind. Do not adopt their speech. Do not adopt their ways, lest the judgment that is coming upon them will come upon you, because some of you do speak like them. Some of you do think like them. Some of you repeat the same thing they say. Now I'm talking about the black folk. Don't get caught up behind that mess. These people, listen, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Message to the Black Man said this about them. They are a commercializing race of people. They will harm their own people for $1. And haven't they done that? They don't care about poor white people. They listen, they don't like poor white people. They can't stand poor white people. They don't look at them as foot soldiers to go hurt and harm us. But when it's time to divvy up resources, they don't care about no poor white people. Look, with they big beautiful bill, they're gonna be cutting the health care, and that's what. Now you talking about the government shutdown. Let's get into that. So the Democrats are saying, well, no, you can't be cutting the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. I agree with the Democrats on that. You can't. Because what makes the Affordable Care Act worth it is the subsidies. If you take the subsidies away, then you're going to be back to paying regular insurance. It's called Affordable Care Act. My opinion, we shouldn't be paying for no insurance in this country. Healthcare should be a human right. Hospitals should not be making profit of anything. Hospitals should not be businesses. Hospitals should be taken care of by the federal government. In their budget, it should be for the health care of this nation. That's why the healthcare industry is so wicked too, because everybody looking about trying to make $1 off of sick people. You focus more on making $1 than healing people. These people are ate up with the love of money to the core, and that's where the root of evil comes from. Once again, there's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruit of your labor. But don't love that. Don't want to screw somebody over just so you can get some money. Tiger, let me tell you something, Tiger. Stop that. Because it don't matter what religion they portray, whether they Catholic, whether they evangelical, or whatever they are. Don't matter. I've seen the same thing. What did I say earlier? It don't matter what location they are on the planet. It don't matter what religion they practice. It don't matter what language they speak. They have the same personality, the same motivations. Period. I think that's the dumbest thing to get into and try to divide them based on religion, location, or whatever. They are the same people everywhere they go. I've seen it with my own eyes. If you get out of America and go travel somewhere outside of America and see they get down, you're going to say, wow, this is the same thing. You'll see it literally. Well, you mentioned about illegal immigrants. I think I talked about that before. Illegal immigrants, the reason why they're here is because they were brought here and allowed to come here to depreciate wages. But the reason why they come here is because this government and the Western powers destabilize their governments, destabilize their economies, and look at what's happening right now with Julius Malema. Right? Let's talk about that. Julius Malema is facing 15 years in prison. Why? He's facing 15 years in prison from a gun case from 2018. He fired off in the air at a rally. He didn't hurt nobody. He didn't do anything. The guy who had the gun actually gave Malema the gun. Nothing happened to him. He was acquitted. Right? But Malema, that didn't harm nobody, didn't kill nobody, none of that. Now he's found guilty. He's facing 15 years in prison. But why? Why that came up all of a sudden? Well, it's kind of mysterious. It came up after Trump said he should be in jail. But I'm gonna let on AfroWire. I'm gonna let Ton Decker handle that deep part of the story on AfroWire AI. But what I'm saying is, everywhere these people go, no matter South Africa, no matter if it's Namibia, no matter what, where they've been, they have never brought peace and tranquility to anywhere. They don't get along with nobody. They can't get along with nobody. And that's just really in the culture. That's the culture. That's why I'm not up for talking. And I'm not saying all, because it's not all of anybody, but I would say the ones that's the good ones that I have, I can feel as good ones. You want to go percentage? I give them about 20%. The rest, no. And I'm just basing this off of my lifetime, what I've seen. Okay, and that fake nice doesn't really impress me, because the more nicer you are, sometimes I'm looking like. Well, when's it? Okay, when the switch up coming? And now you say, well, everybody not like that. I agree. But here's the thing. I got to think about my safety at the end of the day. Oh, I know how to be nice too. I'm not mean to nobody. But you better believe I'm watching. I'm listening very well. I'm paying attention. I have to. I've been doing this too long not to pay attention. You say, why does Memphis need all this law enforcement? Memphis don't need anything. They don't. But you have to understand, let's say like in Illinois, Pritzker said that he didn't want that up there. Well, a governor can deny it. So Trump said, okay, well, I can't bring in the National Guard, so I'll just go bring a bunch of ICE in there. And FBI, he can't stop me from doing that. So that's what they decided to do there. Now in Memphis, Republican state, they brought him in. Now, some of you earlier was also asking about, man, instead of a city, we should go to a particular state. I thought about it in real time to ask chat about if black people moved to a particular state, what would be better, a red state or a blue state, and why? Should I ask that question just to see what it says? Should I ask that question, y'all? Yes or no? Because, ChatGPT definitely gives some interesting responses. Let me go ahead on and just ask, and I want that based off of I'm gonna ask it a certain way. So let me cue it up. Hey, chat, we live streaming. Tell the people hello.
Hey there, everyone. Hello from the live stream side. Great to have you all tuned in.
All right, so I got a question for you real quick. So based on what you know knowledge-wise, if black Americans wanted to move to a particular state, what would be better for them? A red state, a blue state, and why? And base this off of economics, base this off of overall lifestyle, base this off of safety. What would be better for black Americans?
That's a really interesting question, and there are definitely a few angles to consider. So if we're talking economics, blue states often have more social safety nets, sometimes higher wages, and a bit more investment in public services, which can be a plus. On the other hand, red states might have lower taxes and a lower cost of living, which can be appealing for some folks. Now, lifestyle-wise, blue states might offer more diversity in urban areas and a bit more progressive policies, which can sometimes mean a stronger sense of community or cultural acceptance. Red states can have a different vibe, maybe more suburban or rural comfort, and sometimes a slower pace of life. In terms of safety, it can really vary city by city rather than just by state, but some blue states do have stricter gun laws and different policing approaches. So ultimately, it depends on what you value more, whether it's economic opportunity, a certain kind of community, or particular policies. It's a balancing act, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer, but that's the lay of the land.
All right. So you saying that because a lot of black Americans live in red states, I mean, especially in the South, right? And we know some of the history of these red states. From Texas all the way to Louisiana, et cetera, and we're seeing this rise of anti-black racism more than ever. What would you suggest black Americans in red states do to combat this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a real and layered question, especially given the history and the climate. A lot of black Americans do live in red states, particularly in the South, and they build strong communities there despite all the challenges. One big thing is community organizing. Black communities have a long history of grassroots organizing, building local alliances, and creating their own networks of support. That can mean supporting Black-owned businesses, developing community safety initiatives, or creating local political coalitions that actually advocate for policies that protect and uplift their interests. Another angle is getting more engaged in local politics. Sometimes that means running for local office or supporting candidates who are actually going to stand up for the community. It's about making sure that voices are heard in local government and that the policies reflect the needs of the people who live there. And on top of that, there's power and economic strategy, redirecting dollars into Black-owned institutions, creating cooperative economics, and really strengthening that sense of economic independence. All of those steps can help communities push back against those systems that are trying to marginalize them. It's definitely not easy, but it's about tapping into that long legacy of resilience and turning it into modern-day action.
Okay, so strategic voting. Let's get to that point. So if black Americans who have numbers in these states, if they would strategically vote for maybe certain candidates or whatever, could they flip states? Because there's a lot of us in states, but a lot of us don't participate in voting for many reasons. But do you think that's where our power lies at, is if we would strategically vote certain ways?
Absolutely. Strategic voting can be a real game changer. I mean, Yeah, that's a great point, and it definitely is part of the conversation. Absolutely, strategic voting can be a powerful tool. When communities that have historically been marginalized actually come together and vote with a clear strategy, they can absolutely shift the political landscape. We've seen examples of that, like in certain elections where a mobilized voting bloc made a huge difference in the outcome. Now, whether that means flipping a state from red to blue or just changing the balance of power in local elections, it really comes down to participation. If more people get involved and vote in ways that align with their community's interests, then yeah, that can create real political leverage. And that leverage can lead to policy changes that reflect the needs of those communities.
Okay. All right. So you say local politics, which we preach that a lot here. Local politics, you say you can do strategic voting, definitely supporting black businesses, economics. If it were you, what would be your 5-point plan to make that change?
Absolutely. Let's break it down into a kind of 5-point plan approach. If I were outlining it, I'd think about it like this. First, start with community organizing and education. You can't really move forward without making sure folks understand the issues, the stakes, and the power they hold. So the first step is really about building that local awareness and making sure that everyone's on the same page. Second, strategic voting and local politics. Like we said, local politics is where a lot of change happens. So the plan would involve identifying key races, supporting candidates who represent the community's interests, and getting people out to vote in a coordinated way. Third, economic empowerment through supporting Black-owned businesses. This is about circulating the Black dollar within the community and building economic resilience. The stronger the local economy, the more leverage the community has. Fourth, building community safety nets and support networks. That can mean everything from community patrols to local mutual aid groups, basically ways to take care of each other and reduce reliance on institutions that might not have the community's best interests at heart. And fifth, amplifying voices and narratives. Media representation and storytelling are powerful. It's about making sure that the community's own narratives are heard, whether that's through local media, social media campaigns, or other platforms that can help shape the narrative. So those 5 stacks, community education, strategic voting, economic empowerment, community support networks, and controlling the narrative, would be a solid blueprint.
All right, y'all. So y'all heard what Chat said. Now here's the thing. Let me go back here. Now, if you want to talk about the strategic voting part, I seen strategic voting when Obama ran the first time. I've never seen so many black people register to vote and actually vote. I've never seen that before. And that's what scared them, is when we came out to vote for Obama that first time. And I know there's a lot of power when we do mobilize, but, you know, I will never forget what Julius Malema said when he said to the EFF, what's the point of you being in the EFF if you're not even registered to vote? You can't even help us do anything. He said, if you're not registered, then you can't be in the EFF. And I've always said that. I believe all black people should be registered to vote. I don't know why aren't we all at least registered? That way we can participate in, like I say, vote local elections, right? Local elections are always very important. Local elections are, like I say, the strategic voting. Maybe we need to vote somebody out. That's strategic voting. Or vote somebody in. Or we may say, hey, we want to flip a state if we want to, right? For whatever the reason. Like right now, you know, I will say this. Let me get this last point before I have to go. Trying to blame black people about all this mess that's going on. Black people, the reason the Democrats created that problem. The reason why a lot of black people is disenchanted with the Democrats because they haven't done nothing for us since the civil rights movement. Let's call it what it is. There was a lot of Latinos who voted against their own interests and voted for an administration that promised to deport their families. So if anybody should be taking the blame, it should be Latinos who voted against their own family members and their only friends for a white man that promised to hurt them. Don't put that on black people. It's not on black people to try to save America. It is a community project. Everybody has to participate in the community project. Because if black people saving America constantly, then you become entitled. It's like a child. If you do everything for your children and never teach them to do for themselves, they become entitled. They become very lazy. Your children don't learn until you say, hey, you can do it yourself. I'm done. You figure it out. And that's why other groups now, let's say these other groups, you talking about Trump and ICE and all of that. Well, I guess the ones who are citizens, I guess you probably registering to vote right about now, aren't you? I guess in the midterms, you probably going to show up big time, right? And definitely vote against, listen, let's call it what it is. You're going to have to vote against these Republicans for sure. You're going to have to. If you want to slow him down, you're not going to completely stop him, but you can slow him down. And I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican, but I look at the situation at hand, and I'm talking to Latinos more than anybody else. You should be the main one. In Texas, y'all, what, 40% of the population? Definitely, all y'all should be out there voting, right? In the next election. The way Greg Abbott is acting, I think all the Latinos in Texas should be voting, getting him out. The way that, trust me, the route the Republicans have went now, where I'm at with it, I can't support them even if I wanted to. Because they're desperate. They're so desperate to try to get this back to an all-white enclave that it's time for the people who are not white to actually get them out. Like all that mess they did here in Texas and messing up Jasmine Crockett's district and the other Democrats' district, that's not right. That's not right at all. I don't care what you say. That's not right. They did that mess to cheat. Now, you're talking about them, the Democrats cheating. Now they're doing it. All of them been cheating. Let me stop saying that. They've been cheating black folks from day one. So they're not honorable people. Let me not even go there about no cheating. But that's just what it is. If you're tired of that stuff with you got the midterms coming up, get registered to vote, and you can choose what you want to do with it. That's just bottom line. Visa Kaifo, before I get out of here, man, nobody cares about no XRP, dude. When people trying to put some food on the table, they don't care about no XRP, man. They dealing with some real life issues. You talking about a person that got extra disposable income to go buy freaking crypto. Nobody think about no crypto. People trying to pay their light bill. People trying to worry about their job or their businesses if they have businesses in the community. They ain't thinking about no crypto, man. Well, Eric says both are ick. Yeah, I agree. But it's a but. You're going to have to slow him down a little bit because he's doing too much. But like I said, it can't be all on black people. It has to be Latinos, Asians, and all kind of other people too. You can't depend on white people. That's the people you never could depend on. So don't even talk to them about that. But it's going to have to be others who are going to have to do that. But at the same time, with the Democrats, it can't just be, you support us because look how bad he is. No, you're going to have to do something. You're still going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something for black people. And get up off all that immigration talk. That's what got you in the position you're in now, all that immigration talk. Nobody want to hear that about no immigration, man. People suffering too much to be talking about immigration right now. Because really, if he just kind of would just be normal and yet mass deportations, not too many people would have a problem with it. But like I say, he's just doing way too much. That's what it is with him. No, he's not doing a little too much. He's doing way too much. He's doing way too much. What he's doing is not, like I said, I can understand he was doing a lot of stuff and the economy was great right now. All the tariff stuff he's doing, it don't make sense. It just don't make sense. So, no, he's doing too much. And the people he got around him, I think it's worse than what he ever could be. That's what a lot of y'all not paying attention. Look at the people that's actually around him. Not just Stephen Miller, but the rest of them. But anyway, y'all, let me go ahead and go. I appreciate you coming by, checking us out. Make sure you follow us here And check out LaSherica on AfroWire AI.